Push past slow GLP-1 weight loss with Hara Hachi. Hi, beautiful friends. I'm Elizabeth, Countess of Shopping. I have lost over, I almost said 300 pounds. I've lost over 113 pounds where I weighed over 300 pounds. And now I'm doing amazing things like weightlifting and horseback riding and doing really, really cool stuff as a result of my GLP-1 weight loss. And on today's episode, I want to deep dive into a technique that I read about with Zepbound, or if you're on Wegovy or Semaglutide or Tirzepatide, called Hara Hachi. Hara Hachi. It's a Japanese technique. And when I saw this news article, I was like, I have to share with my besties. So I'm going to cite my source down below so you can read it as well. It's from Science Alert is who my source is from. And it basically, Hara Hachi is an eating philosophy rooted in moderation. And before, if you had told me this before GLP-1 medication, I would have been like, ha, that's funny, because I am a maximalist and not a moderation person. Gray is very hard for me. Black and white is very simple for me. And so having these shades of gray or shades of moderation has frequently been a struggle for me. So reading about this practice of Hara Hachi is from Japanese Confucian teaching, which instructs people to only eat until they're around 80% full. You may have heard this concept about eat until, not until you're all the way full. We know that, right? We know that. But I think that there's tips and techniques in this that we absolutely mandatorily need to be applying for our GLP-1 weight loss, myself included. I learned something with these techniques and then having been practicing them, because I wanted to practice them before I shared them, of like, is this something that is beneficial for me and for my besties? Can we do this? Can this help us if we're having a weight plateau, if we're having slower weight loss? Is Hara Hachi something that we can utilize on our journeys? Because the research on Hara Hachi basically, it's limited, but previous studies have evaluated the overall dietary patterns of those living in regions where eating philosophy is more commonplace, is not 80% rule, is in isolation. So it's talking about our long-term BMI, that this can help us long-term. And I definitely think healthier eating patterns, there's 7 of them, 7 patterns for this Hara Hachi that can help aid us if we're in a weight plateau, if we are having slow weight loss, or if we're wanting to jumpstart our really good weight loss. I think that it's applicable for anything. And the first one is before eating. It's the sense of mindfulness with this. With what GLP-1 has taught me very much, this concept of being super mindful when I'm eating. Am I 100% at this? No. Am I a work in progress? Absolutely. I am so much better now than I was when I first started GLP-1 medication almost 3 years ago. And so checking in with my body is the first step with Hara Hachi of before I eat, am I truly hungry? And for me, frequently, by the way, I find when I ask myself that question, sometimes I'm like, I'm really thirsty actually, or I just want another cup of decaf coffee. Like that was this morning for breakfast. I was like, I am not hungry for breakfast yet. I just want another cup of hot decaf coffee. It's cold. I feel like I have a cold and like nasally thing going on. Checking in with my body. And that changed my state of how much actual food I wanted to be able to have. And so it's not me denying myself and it's not me restricting myself. And that's a concept that comes up throughout Hara Hachi, this Japanese concept, which is brilliant, by the way, of that check-in, that self-check-in. If you're feeling bored, tired, stressed, take a moment and pause. Giving yourself space to reflect to help prevent food from being a coping mechanism. And I know I can't do the eating habits that I did before GLP-1 medication now. However, I still have the propensity to overeat if I allow myself to. So checking in before eating, yes, that's multiple times throughout the day, but that's where practice comes into play. That's where I get really good at this, is practicing. Okay, the next one is one of the hardest ones for me. And number 7, this one and number 7 is slowing down and savoring each bite. Slowing down. I am naturally a fast-paced person. It's fared very well for me in business. Like I've done well by money, loves speed. Like going quickly has fared well for me, but slowing down to savor, to enact my senses with it, and to have a satisfying experience, and helps us to know when we're satiated and to stop eating. Like, okay, I'm feeling that fullness now because I'm slowing down, because I'm savoring. My body's giving me those signals if I choose to listen. So like that mind-body connection of slowing down, giving it a pause, giving it a beat. That's taken a ton of practice. And for me, I do try to put my fork down in between bites. I'm not the best at that, but I am certainly trying. When we were at Disney, that was something that I was, because we were on vacation, I had the opportunity to practice. Did I completely excel at that? No. Was it something I definitely was trying? Yes, putting my fork down in between each bite. Number 3, I love this one, by the way. I'm like, this is a way to save a lot of money in addition to practicing Hara Hachi, is leftovers and sharing meals. I love this one. Connection and conversation are part of what makes food meaningful. Connection at meal times is the key to longevity. And so, and it's uniquely human, by the way, of having that connection as well. And so literally like breaking bread with people, share it with somebody. And if we're not able to share, like sharing a dessert, sharing appetizers, or even sharing our meal. But for me, for sure, leftovers, like that concept of tonight's dinner will be tomorrow's lunch. Like literally, I'm gonna go make tacos right after I film this video. It will be tomorrow's lunch for everybody. Is leftovers for the next day for lunch, particularly for dinner, and then sharing it with somebody if not. When we were in Disney, it was crazy because I wanted to order a bunch of different stuff and try it. And I wasn't going to force feed myself to eat everything on my plate or have clean plate club. And so that was such a weird concept not to have leftovers because we couldn't really, like, they're just walking around with a to-go box at like Epcot, for example, it just wasn't possible. So we did try to share as much as we could, but also it just didn't work in some instances. But I really like this concept of sharing and having leftovers with it too. Next, this is the one I'm not great at. This is the one that I'm not great at, but I'm trying to. No distractions. Like making food the intention. Making that, like that's the focus, is the food. No distractions. Step away from screens, give your meal the full attention. Screens often serve as a distraction from our fullness cues and can contribute to overeating. Guilty. I literally just was watching this new show. It's called like Upstairs Downstairs on Amazon Prime. It's awesome. In a weird way, but awesome. And so I do find that I get like hooked into shows and things like that. And so I don't drink. I'm telling you this for my mindset, not for you to judge me. Don't judge me, but I'm telling you this just so we can all learn together. Is I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't do drugs. I don't do a lot of stuff. And so for me, food was the primary like dopamine hit, so to speak. And so to have that not there, I do enjoy more entertainment type stuff. And so not having distractions because food is not as dopamine hitty as it was many years ago. And not that it was, because that lifestyle, by the way, I would not wish that on my worst enemy. That was HE double hockey sticks. It was not fun or fulfilling. And so the lifestyle I live now, I'm so incredibly grateful for. But for in eating, I do sometimes like to zone out. Can anyone else relate to this? Am I the only one that's like, oh, yes. So for my lunch day, for example, I was watching my show while I was eating. I had the most delicious Greek yogurt. I had some chia seeds in there. It was my fruit bowl and a whole bunch of pomegranate seeds. And it was so good. I had clocked my calories already, so I knew how much I was eating, the portion control with it. So I wasn't just like mindlessly eating. But the distraction is, was I fully intentionally savoring the food? This is something I'm going to try to work on, but also it's very, very difficult for me. Very difficult for me. Will I think that it helps to move the needle on the scale? For sure. For sure. Because maybe I didn't need to eat as much as I thought I did. You know what I mean? Have you had that of where you're like, oh, I didn't actually need to eat this portion size? Because of GLP-1 medication, my appetite suppression is skewed. And day 24 hours and 48 hours after my shot, very much full and having that appetite suppression, where day 5, day 6, day 7, because of half-life, I feel very much hungrier during those days. And so you see what I'm saying? And so having those distractions with those different day changes, it's not like day in, day out, day in, day out, day in, day out, because it changes so much throughout the week. Having no distractions, that's why it's one of the key ones. And it's the hardest for me. I'm curious, as the ones that we've talked about so far, I'm dying to know which ones are hardest for you. We've got 7 of them. Okay, next, number 5. I like this one. I've gotten good at this one. This is the one I've been practicing for years now, and I'm like, yes, I get a gold medal. So let me know if you get a gold medal too. It's being comfortably full. It's that 80% concept, comfortably full, but not stuffed. I have had this with my GLP-1 medication of where I overestimate my appetite, and then I end up getting really, really stuffed. I feel like a chipmunk with my cheeks full. Like that does not feel good for me, and it doesn't feel good for you either. And so it says, if we think of being hungry as 1 and being full as you need to lay down as a 10, then eating should feel around 80% full, meaning we're an 8, that you should feel comfortable, satisfied rather than stuffed. Eating slowly and attuned to our body signals help us achieve that. That is awesome. If I am in a stressful situation, which I am right now, just full disclosure, Q4 for me for my job is intense. It will ease up January. Literally when December 19th is when I stop working. So like December 19th evening, I know things will very much switch and change to this different season. Right now I'm in a stressful season. And so being comfortably full and not stuffed, that is in a stressful season is hard for me. It's harder to do these. It's really much harder for me to do a Hara Hachi Bu when it's more stressful or intense scheduling that's happening, which is happening right now. I don't know if you can hear Mr. Freddie. My kid's going, like, it is freaking bananas. Our heater went out. Like, if I could just tell you, I set off the fire alarm. Yesterday, our house was filled with smoke. Like, it's cuckoo badooku over here. And so finding that comfortability, that is really helpful. And the more I practice doing this, the better I get at it. The more that when there's chaos around me by things that I can't control, the uncontrollable, like I can't, like, that is when my food settles in my stomach, both figuratively and literally, but like that makes it for so much better in terms of my weight loss. Number 6, rounding the bend, number 6 is nourishment. Nourishment, nourishment, nourishment. Ensure our meals have vitamins, minerals, fiber, and energy. I would dare to say the nourishment is, for me, not dare to say, it is, it's protein and fiber for me. Fiber comes through fresh fruits and vegetables, not always fresh, but vegetables and fruit. They can be frozen or canned or whatever. But that nourishment and protein, having a high protein diet for me and having a high fiber diet when I was in weight loss mode, eating in a calorie deficit, that is nourishing. But how do I find nourishment in a calorie deficit? And you may be saying that, like, you have one word on your page, Elizabeth. How do you do that in a calorie deficit? Well, for example, let me just share with you. That's why I have all of these food, meals. Make sure you click like and subscribe so you can go binge watch all of them. Don't binge eat, go binge watch. With all these different low calorie, high protein concepts to get that nourishment, to get that fiber in. For example, tacos. Like Taco Tuesday is brilliant. I can have lean 99% taco meat or chicken, like a lean protein in there. Taco shells, which I'll have 1 or 2, and then fill it with a ton of vegetables, tomatoes, lettuce, peppers, onions, beans. I can add rice sometimes I don't. Salsa, guacamole, some sour cream, some cheese. Like, it's perfect. And it's like such a nourishing, easy, delicious, fun meal, and we're all excited about it. Woohoo! So nourishment, aiming for nourishment for your body. And for me, because I'm eating less, it's important that I am, with the meals that I'm having, nourishing that. If you are on a GLP1 dose, where your portions are like this and then like this, and you're not eating the nourishment within this, it's gonna jack with hair, bones, cells, organs. Like, we've got to be having, we can't continue to eat. I'll use my estimates. I could not continue to eat the way I was eating when I weighed over 300 pounds because it was not nourishing as my portions shrunk. The shrinking of portions of just having like ice cream and fried foods and things like that, just not sustainable or helpful for my muscles. And so that nourishing component, super, super, super important to make that the focus of, okay, when I'm making my product selection, which is why I had to go to a dietitian, which is why I've sought wise counsel, is because I didn't know all of like how to do this. And so seeking somebody to help teach me, super, super important for me. Woo! We're rounding the bend, number 7. It's one of the hard ones for me. I saved the best for last. And it's in yellow to remind practicing self-compassion, because it's a practice, meaning not restrictive. How many people can relate to being on a restrictive diet? I know I have. And there is no eating perfectly. There is no such thing as that. And so with the Hara Hachi Bu, the concept with it, which by the way, I'm obsessed with. I just think this is the greatest. Thank you, Japanese culture, for having this. It's brilliant. It's about being, Hara Hachi Bu is about being aware of our body and not about feeling guilty about what we're eating. How many times have I felt guilt-shame combination over eating? Thousands. I refuse to feel that way. Refuse, particularly with the price point in which I'm paying with my GLP-1 medication, to have that. And so Hara Hachi, the concept is not restrictive. It is not that. It's promotion of moderation in eating in tune with my body and not eating less. It's the means of losing weight and triggering harmful cycles of restriction, dysregulation, and overeating. Like that binge loop cycle, like that is not what Hara Hachi is. It's in being in tune. And to me, it seems like such loving choice, loving choice, loving choice. What's the next? Loving choice, loving choice, loving choice. And so it's meant to embody and focus balance, intuition. And so focusing on more aspects of nutrition, like dietary qualities and eating essential nutrients. It may not suit everyone. For example, I should have said this at the beginning, but I'm saying it now. Like obesity is a wide hoop. There's many different ways to jump through it. So people like athletes, children, older adults, those living with illness often have higher and more specific nutritional needs. So this eating pattern may not be suitable for these groups. For me, it is though. It makes sense that 80% full guideline. It's a good like, what are those things on the car? What are they called? With the speed rails? Speed rails, is that what they're called? What are they flipping called? It's at its core about tuning on our body. It's gonna drive me nuts. Where you go around the corner, guardrails. Y'all, I'm hungry. I need to go eat my tacos. I gotta go make my kid, help him with his homework, take him to soccer practice. Mr. Fretting out there. Do you guys hear that? The security guard in which he is, somebody or something is trying to get too close and he is letting them know they're too close. Can you guys hear that? Squirrel. So at its core, it's about tuning into our body, honoring the hunger without overindulgence, and appreciating food as fuel. And I love this so much. I love that concept. And y'all, we know the 80%. Oh, I've done that. But have you done all 7 of them? Oh, I bet you haven't. I bet you haven't. Because for me, quite frankly, being morbidly obese, I'll speak for myself, being morbidly obese, let alone obese, there was an unhealthy perspective with food, right? And so being able to practice one of these 7 or all 7 of these, like what a gift. What a gift that I do have those guardrails. Y'all, I'm doing the best I can. We're doing the best we can today. We're doing the best we can today. Do you see that? That's my UGG sweater. It's just flying those fibers. What? You guys see? It's like a poof of fiber. Oh my goodness, my nose is dripping. Holy smokes, this is a great video. I hope you've loved it as much as I have. I truly, though, I'm excited to practice. I've been practicing it as I read this. I was like, I want to practice it while I was on vacation and while I'll continue to practice this because I think it's important. We have to, I'll use my I statements, I have to change 2 things about me with GLP-1 medication. Eli Lilly tells us in the literature for Zepbound and Mounjaro, we have to change our physical activity and we have to change our eating habits. Point blank, period. So changing those eating habits for me, that mindfulness, that mind connection, that I now have the ability with medical intervention to be able to practice. I could not practice that before. Normal, quote, people could, but obesity is a disease and there's been things with my body that I realized that the medications have given me that I've been deficit in my whole life. And so no wonder I would overeat and no wonder there was no stopping and no wonder I felt like a super freak because everybody else, my sister could put her fork down halfway through a meal and be like, I'm full. And I'm like, I want another plate, let alone halfway full. I want 4 times that portion. You know what I mean? And I felt like such a whack job about that. And I'm not a whack job. And you're not a whack job either. It's our bodies were made differently, our genetic predisposition and the genetic component of obesity that now, because of GLP-1, I have the ability to practice this stuff. It's given me, now I'm on equal playing field as quote normal people. And so now that I'm on an equal playing field, I can do things like this. But before I couldn't even, I wasn't even on the same field. I was like, here's the field. I was in the clubhouse behind the locker room that was in a locked door. Like it was not even on the field to playing field at all. So I hope that this helps you. I would love to know your, out of the 7 suggestions I gave for the Hara Hachi, what would be one that you're gonna focus in on today? Or this week, but ideally today. I think that today we jump ahead so much. And what is the today plan? So tell me in the comments below. I'm dying to know. Mine, I'm going to focus in on that, the self-compassion component, like the not restrictive. Not that I have been but that continues to be a big key and theme for me of healing that, of like years and years of damage of that. That has been really helpful to be able to like lean into that. And then number 2 is not eating with distractions. We'll go to dinner. At dinner, I'm like, It's a no phone zone. We're very good about that because my son's home. And so I'm very good about that. But when it's just me, I'm like, I want to watch some shows and calm it down. And I really am going to try to work on that. Tomorrow, I'd like to sit outside and eat my lunch. I feel like that's a good, what's it called? I'm about to say conversation. Y'all, I'm so tired. We need to end this video. A good combination, a good, what's the word? A combination, a good medium. What's the word I'm looking for? Compromise. Okay, I'm gonna go. I'm tired. Our emoji of the day, because I do emojis of the day to get to know you better because I care, is going to be a tree, because my shirt's green. You can do a palm tree, you can do a pine tree, you can do whatever tree you wish. But today's emoji of the day is tree. It tells me that you made it this far in the video. It's my bat signal to get to know you better because I care, and also my bat signal to pray over you. If you don't believe in prayer, uplift you in positive thoughts. So tree is the, and thanks, is the emoji of the day. And thanks for dealing with my tiredness. It's been a long day. Y'all, we're doing the best we can with what we've got. Truly, truly. And let's keep going. Let's focus in on our health. Let's do the next loving choice. My next loving choice is I am trying to kick this cold. I'm going to go to bed a little bit earlier. I already had a nap today. That was a super loving choice. And I've eaten really, really clean today. So I'm pumped about that. Okay, be kind to yourself. Be kind to others. I'm Countess of Shopping, counting our blessings because life is delicious. I love you guys, and I will see you manana. Bye, beautiful friends. Have a great day.